When I was about 13 or 14 years old, I used to harass the shit out of people at Nike Australia because I would spend all day designing stuff on Nike ID only to not be able to buy them. Now, I wasn't able to buy them because it wasn't available in Australia, but I wasn't able to buy them because I was 13 or 14 years old and had no money. Hey, what up? This is MITUS and we're going to do another episode of Creased. Now, like I alluded to before, I spent crazy hours on Nike ID. I got shown by a mate and I was in love. I was designing all types of shoes, even footy boots, everything. I was designing everything. I've even got a little image right here of some Spizikes I designed at one point, and this is back when, you know, they would actually like put some sort of background and everything on it to make it look a little bit crazier. Now, it looks good. What am I saying? It's funny because it is in Australia now, but it's not called Nike ID. It's called Nike by You, which I guess is cool, but the nostalgia in me wanted some Nike ID. Now, Nike ID started out as a customization for people within sport, whether it be your team colors, putting your name on your cleats, your boots, everything like that. Obviously, with how big the sneaker community has gotten, we want some customized shoes. We don't really care about matching with teams, although you'll see in a minute that I'm matching with teams. Now, I think Nike ID, or Nike by You as it's now called, had been in Australia for maybe 2 years before I even actually noticed, which is pretty bad considering how much I used to hassle Nike. I remember actually getting email responses back from them back then. This is before they even had a proper website. I don't know if you remember the old website where they'd have like literally nothing on there. It wasn't the same one that's essentially the American one, but you know, with our availability on there, crazy. But when I finally pulled the trigger, I believe I hit on a massive multi on the footy, and I was just like, let's do it. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. No, it really wasn't that long. For a custom pair of sneakers, it really wasn't that long. Like, you gotta remember, when they're creating a shoe, say a GR, or even like something that's a quick strike, right? They've got all the materials laid out and everything. Like, it's pre-cut, everything, bang, 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 bang. With something that's customized, they gotta put that shit together in the combinations. It's not as easy as that. And then each individual one has some sort of different inscription. But let's see what I finally did with Nike ID, or Nike by You. Now, I believe this is the first pair I did. I believe. And I'm not mad at the quality. The quality is insane. The only thing I didn't really like was this velvety blue up here, which I didn't realize you could pick materials the first time around, so that's my bad. My name is MITUS. Had to get the MITUS one on the back. It's crazy too now that, you know, we got the Air Max 1, which is one of my favourite releases. They've been worn, obviously. Air Max 1s have kind of dropped off the face of the earth now. The last time you could even get a pair was the Clot Air Max, which looked terrible. And then they had them on Nike by You. I had a pair sitting there that we were going to design and, you know, work around with some music project. And then all of a sudden they weren't there anymore. I was like, fuck. Luckily, I got these, because these are super clean. Super clean. The next one I did was another favorite silhouette of mine. I do have a lot of these, and I've mentioned before that if it's in lime green, I will buy it. And lime green. I've worn these obviously. The quality on these, probably not as good as the Air Max one, but still decent. It's very similar quality to what's available in, you know, the re-release of the infrareds and that. It was alright, but it wasn't the best. That was kind of the inspiration with these. I wanted to do lime green's obviously my favourite. The Volts don't really do it for me. I think this is called Desert Cactus. But I wanted that obviously that lighter grey like the infrareds or the lasers. But yeah, super clean. It does say MITUS on the tongue, but I probably wouldn't get that done again because that top patch just looks really cheap. The stitching on the back looks incredible, that not so much. And what's crazy about these, I didn't actually design it to be like that. I just so happen to like lime green. But the Fume Raider shirts we did a while back match perfectly with these. Now, we mentioned team colors and that's what it initially was meant to be, right? So I had to go the Bulldogs Air Force Ones with the clear sole because I'm a sucker for punishment. I just am. I love the icy sole, and obviously it won't stay like that forever, but yeah man, I love these. I've been getting back into my Air Force Ones ever since the Kaepernick Air Force One. You know, it just reminded me how comfortable and how much of an everyday shoe they are. So, you know, had to do an Air Force One. I've actually designed another Air Force One recently that we'll see how we go. They offered me some lime green, so I had to. But same as the Air Max one, we got MITUS one on the back. And the tongue, I think the tongue tag is just blue, which just looks nice. I like the white laces on it and the white lace loop there, but recently I've been looking at them thinking I might put some blue laces in them. I don't know. One thing I will do, however, when I was in Melbourne, the Melbourne Central Nike had a little Nike by You setup, and I was curious. I was like, oh, you're gonna make me a shoe on the spot, because I will pay money to have a customized shoe right then and there. And they're like, nah, that's not how that works. I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I wondered what they did do, and they did a bunch of t-shirts, and like really there was a lot of limitations on it. A couple of things they did were multiple prints and all this type of stuff. They're like, oh yeah, but you guys can't do that. And I'm like, what? Because I kind of wanted a shirt with my name on it, all this stuff. Nah, couldn't do it. One thing they did do is this, and that is a custom, I don't know what they call these, lace loop something, but obviously says my name, MITUS, and I got them for these Air Force Ones, and then I got some gold ones as well that I'm going to put on my Jordan 3 Tinkers, the black joints. So, not bad. Now, the pros and cons of Nike by You. The pros are you can customize your favorite shoes to an extent. They don't offer every color, otherwise I would have every silhouette in lime green or some type of lime green. They also will limit the amount of pairs they do a day. They also do certain silhouettes, like a dunk, which they've done recently, very limited. You could be refreshing, it'll say coming soon for like 2 days, and then be gone within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever. I remember doing a design, basically posting it on the IG and being like, hey, this is what you could do, and like, here's a Chicago style, here's a Black Pigeon style, here's a 7-Eleven style, here's all these different styles that you could potentially do if you actually like the colorway and not just the hype of the sneaker, right? And it still said coming soon, and it said members access and all this. Even though I was logged in, I could not get them. I couldn't even like put a size to try to check out. And then they were gone. And I started seeing people's popping up, and I'm like, I was so jealous. The cons are you're bound within Nike's limitation. But they're offering you a service that no one else is really offering apart from, you know, customizers. Shipping can take a little bit, but it depends on, say, how many people are getting stuff at the time. But in the end, like, even if you waited like 4 weeks, which on average it's, for me, I've had pairs within 2 weeks, which is crazy. Even if it is 4 weeks, it's a custom pair of sneakers. No one's gonna have that. It's one of one. The other downside is you're never going to see a Jordan 1 on there. You're never going to see a Jordan 3 on there. Hell, you won't even see a Jordan 2 on there. Back in the day, they had Jordan Spizikes on there, and that's something, right? But I don't think they're ever going to do that again. You may get Kyrie's, KD's, sometimes LeBron's, Janowski's, that sort of thing, but that's it. They're very limited in what's available. You can get like an Air Max 90, Air Force 1, whether it be mid or low. They've got running, they've got the waffles up there now. There's a fair variety. The other con is probably price. They can be quite dear. If you're paying like around 160, 170 for a normal pair of Air Max 90s, I think you're paying just over 200 for a custom pair on there. Given that it's a one of one, I see the value in that. Some people may not. Some people may go, oh, you know, it is what it is. Everyone's got different preferences, budgets, and how they spend their money. Overall, I'm pretty stoked with it. I like my 3 pairs that I have, and I'll definitely be adding to it. I'm currently looking at another pair of Air Max 90s. They've done for members, where they've given a bit more variety of what you can use in terms of materials and a little hang tag and all this type of stuff, and it just looks crazy. And the variety you can do with it, I'm all in. But let me know what you guys think. Have you ever purchased from Nike ID back in the day? Maybe you did like a drop ship with a US post box, or are you customizing now? Do you do it often? Have you never done it? Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll keep bringing you that good sneaker content. Peace.